What's going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Fitness Network. Appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. As always, today we've got a few drafts lined up for you. Some puppy fours, a BBM7, and we'll see what else is on tap for today as we go through this episode. But appreciate you stopping by the channel. We're going to go ahead and start this episode off with a puppy four, get warmed up, and kind of take it from there. So real quick, let me just get everything situated and we will get off and going. Gonna hop into the puppy four. I like to start off with a lower stakes draft before I move into BBM. So we'll go ahead and do this puppy four. Do a 5-second countdown if anybody wants to hop in here. What up, Hartman? What up, Mike Rob? Good to see you guys. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. We're going to go ahead and hop into this puppy four here. I'm going to do a quick, I was going to say 5 seconds, but I'll say 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Puppy four, waiting for 9. If you guys are new to the channel, I want to say thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the support. If you're not already subscribed, like and subscribe. The YouTube channel is Fantasy Fitness IO. Just head out there to YouTube, type in Fantasy Fitness IO, or you can click the link in my X bio. It'll take you right there. Smash that subscribe button. Trying to get to 50 subscribers as soon as possible. And then 100, and then 500, and then 10,000, and then 300,000, like Fantasy Flock. So one step at a time. Waiting for 3. Let me see what's going on here. Make sure we're ready to rock and roll. I think the audio is good. Got a little background music. Ready to crush this draft. Hartman asks, how have the injury scares been for me? Well, I heard just before I came in that Chase got hurt. Yeah, and Hartman says it right here. Chase got hurt a little bit. I saw the clip. He was kind of running down the boundary. I don't know if he stepped on somebody's foot or what happened, but it looked like he got twisted up, went to the ground, immediately grabbed his knee, and then kind of hobbled off to the sideline. So that one didn't look good, but he did get up on his own power, and then he kind of, I don't know, tapped the defender on the back. So maybe that was his way of saying, I'm all right. I don't know. He's probably going to get some tests. Really hoping the Chase injury is nothing serious. But that one I saw, and then I heard Kenneth Walker has a foot injury and he sat out practice today. So that's not, that's nothing good. I don't know how bad that one is. They didn't really, mention it before the practice. So I'm assuming it's pretty minor, but yeah, Kenneth Walker, foot injury, and Jamar Chase, coming up, grabbing his knee. It's not good. I obviously have a lot of both of those players, as does probably everybody else, because they're, first, second round picks. But I guess we just wait and see. There's not really much I'm going to do at this point. I'm going to keep drafting until I hear more. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some others, but those are the two that come to mind. Got a Turbotron in here at the 1. I'm going to take Dijon here at the 2. I see we have Hartman here at the 4, and we got Nick Bach, 23 in here at the 5. Trenny, 23 is also in here at 11. So quite a few names. Oh, and Boner Brian is also in here at 6. So a whole bunch of names that I recognize in this one. I don't know who's all in the stream or who's just out here drafting, but names I recognize: Turbotron, DMH09, Nickbach 23, Boner Brian, and Trenny 2323. So we're all out here ripping drafts. This is probably a negative EV draft, but we'll see how it goes. Good to warm up, you know. Come in here with some heavy hitters before I head on over to the BBM streets. And we'll keep an eye on all these other guys too. I'll probably review all these other teams at the end just because I'm curious what everybody else is doing. But yeah, I take Bijan. Chase falls to 4, maybe on this injury news. I don't know, but Hartman wastes no time scooping that up. And then JSN here at 5. Trenny grabs Lamb at 11. Pretty standard stuff other than, you know, pulling up Derrick Henry here into the first at slot 10. Not something you see a lot, but that's fine. He ends up getting, I guess this would be considered a unique combo because you're getting 2 guys that normally go in the second round and you can pair them up here. Henry and Hampton. Yeah. And here's a little bit of the slide, maybe on the Walker news. He's here at 17. So Kenneth Walker coming off the board at 17, paired up with McCaffrey going to Ghostly 999, who's a bronze badge. Pretty interesting so far. Kind of a fun draft. 2 away. Hartman grabs Bowers. And again, this is Puppy 4. This one was just released yesterday. 150 max entry, $5 per entry, $100,000 up top. For me, it's any of these 3. Probably just go London at 23. I feel like that's a good price. We'll get the double Atlanta thing going on here. But yeah, in terms of the advancement structure, 2 out of 12, 1 out of 10, and then 1 out of 10. Some of those other puppies were like 1 out of 5 with a larger seat final. This is a 1 out of 10, so keeps that final pretty small, 188. I think that's pretty reasonable. I'm going to go Trey McBride on this one. Wanted to get a tad bit more of him. Still think he's going to smash this year. And happy to grab him here at 26. I could, if it wasn't him, I probably would have went Devonta Smith there. Don't really want to be clicking these running backs at the turn right now. I guess it's fine if you're going to do a large portfolio, but I'll grab McBride there. Just kind of spread it out. Running back, wide receiver, tight end. Lad McConkey at 28 to Hartman. So he's Chase, Bowers, Hartman, or Chase, Bowers, McConkey, excuse me. I've been seeing this more often. I've seen Hartman do it before, and I'm also seeing other people do it as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Hartman says, I'm picking Lad every draft with you. Better not root against them. Yeah, I'm not. I'm underweight him, but I haven't been doing this per se, where I'm pulling him up to the front half of the 3rd round. I may have to try it though. May just have to try it. Nick Bach goes JSN, AJ Brown, and Jeremiah Love. I think that's a fine start. Boner Brian's doing 0 RB here. St. Brown, Nico Collins, and Smith. I feel like that's good pricing on all of those guys, especially with like the Higgins news. I mean, they did just trade for Kayshon Boutte, and maybe he slots right into that wide receiver 2 spot over Jalen Noel and Tank Dell. Kind of be interesting to see how that whole situation plays itself out. Turbo 1, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. I see you're at the 101 or the 1 slot, so we're battling maybe a little bit here. But good luck. Only 2 of us can make it out. We've got a whole crew in here. And then what did... sorry, I wanted to check on Trenny 2323 real quick. He goes Lamb, Jefferson, Hall, Swift. So his big, I guess, move is pulling Swift up to 38 and taking a fall on Hall. I like that combo. Swift up here to 38. We'll see what if he does anything with that from a correlation perspective, or if he's just kind of, you know, taking who he deems as like the best running back in that range. Oh shoot, my mouse is giving me trouble. I want to go Monty here, I think. Yeah, let's go Monty. I like Loveland. I don't do the double elites. Probably should, because that's a super good price on Loveland. And this is just the puppy, but I guess I'll go Monty there. And then for me here, it's either Terry, Evans, or Adams. Why don't we go Terry this time? I got to get a little bit more Terry. I haven't been clicking a lot of him, but I feel like he's a pretty safe pick in this range. You know, it's a concentrated passing attack with Daniels to Diggs and McLaurin. I guess you can throw in Chig there, but I feel like pretty damn concentrated passing attack. So Terry feels pretty safe here in the 5th round. You know, he used to go at like the 3-4 turn, or at least like the mid 4th. And then once they signed Diggs, he's been kind of a staple in the back half of the 4th and even into the 5th. So I feel like I want to take advantage of that a little bit. I don't see Diggs' signing materially changing his output. So get a little Terry at that spot. Could have gone Evans or Adams as well, but that was just whatever, just mixing up the combos. Hartman grabs Bucky. Nick gets Parker Washington here at 53. Boner Brian goes with Adams. Not seeing a lot of like correlation or game stacking or team stacking at this point. I mean, we're still only through 5 rounds, but it's kind of just get your guys at the moment is what I'm seeing. Okay, we have a 5th round Quentin Johnston sighting here at 58. Yeah, that feels early, very early. I haven't done that once in 600 drafts, but you know, see what's going on there. That's Ben 23 at the 10 spot. He's been kind of getting unique this whole time, though. He does get the Kyron fall and then the Amika Ibuka at 39. I have been trying to do this actually in BBM and haven't had a ton of luck getting it. So I do like that. But outside of that, like little combo there, I don't know. Nothing else there really appeals too much to me in that build at those prices, at least. All right, I am going to stack up Terry with Jaden Daniels. I think that's pretty easy click for me. I could have grabbed Thomas there, but I want that stack. And if he goes, I'm okay getting like DK, Jaden Reed, Lemon, one of those other guys. I mean, this is a damn good price on Hurts, but I have the other elite, so I don't know. I'm kind of between DK and Lemon here. I want to get a little bit more Lemon. I feel like I haven't been clicking him at all. And now that he's healthy, I think he could be a good rookie that we should be taking. Now this is a little early, but he's not coming back. So since I'm not going to get him back, I figure I'll take him here. As a prospect, I was really impressed with him coming out of USC. Over 3 yards per route run in his final year. Got better every single year. He did have Jacoby Lane there, who's proving to be a pretty good wide receiver in his own right, at least from camp reports. So maybe I've just been a little too low on Lemon, and I'm starting to click him just a little bit more. I think he's going to be a pretty impressive wide receiver when it's all said and done. I could be wrong, but from an efficiency perspective, getting better every single year. There's only been a handful of guys, in that like 3 yards per route run, and first round draft capital. Like, he checks a lot of boxes. Now, is Howie good at assessing wide receivers? I don't know. He took Jalen Reagor in the first round, over Justin Jefferson. So, there is that we have to contend with. But he did trade for AJ Brown. So, we'll see. I think Mekhi Lemon's going to be pretty good. All right. Quick recap of this team. We go Jaden Daniels, Bijan, and Monty at running back. Drake, London, Terry McLaurin, and Mekhi Lemon at wide receiver. And then we have Trey McBride as our lone tight end. We'll see what comes back here for running backs and wide receiver. Okay, Trenny does pull up Laporta to 86 to correlate with his Swift pick. There's some correlation going on there. Nick Bach gets T-Law at 92 to stack up with Parker Washington. And then Boner Bryant, he ends up stacking Hurts with Smith too. Gets a good price at 78. Stacks that up. All right, I'm going to go. Let's see. It's either Dobbins, Chuba, or JCM here. Let's go JCM. He is the starter. I think this is a fine price on him. I don't know that I'll get White back, so we'll just do the double there. And then I'm going to grab either Pittman or Golden here. Let's go. Let's go Golden. I need to mix in a little bit more of Golden as well. Not sure if he's going to be a good player or not. He definitely did not live up to his first round draft capital last year. He wasn't a great prospect, though, to be completely honest, in terms of like efficiency metrics, targets per route run, yards per route run, things of that nature. And he was a transfer from Houston. Didn't do well at Houston. He was playing with Tank Dell, so maybe give him a little slack for that. But just generally speaking, his numbers, efficiency numbers, were pretty poor at Houston. Then he makes then he transfers over to Texas, and really didn't do a ton until like the big games, like the college playoff games, where he kind of shined towards the end. Does get the first round draft capital. I think he's at like 1.5 yards per route run last year, which is okay. Not terrible, not great. So I'm going to give him another chance. They did clear out Wicks and Dobbs, so it's a much cleaner offensive scheme. He seems to be kind of in that X role. So I'm sprinkling him in on some builds. It's not somebody I'm going crazy with, but we'll grab him here at 98. Maybe you just take 2 running backs there. Maybe take Mason. I don't know, but it's fine. All right, now here, if I want to start correlating with my Washington pieces, I could go with like a Myers or a C-Rod. Could try to grab a quarterback here and start backstacking them, like a Shuck or a Mayfield. A couple different ways to kind of play this turn. Maybe this is the spot where you take Tyson. You know, at this price, this could be where you grab Tyson. He is a bring back to my Atlanta pieces. I haven't been clicking him, so I know it's a thought. See what Crushing Fantasy Football does here real quick. All right, I'm going to take Dart. I just think this is a ridiculous price on Dart, and I'm not going to let my buddy to my left have him. So we're going to grab Jackson Dart here at 119, and then we'll take whatever's left over, Jacoby, Romeo, maybe grab Tyson, could grab Debo, but I think that's a double whammy. I get a good price on him here, and I sort of, you know, I don't let the neighbor stack go through at value. Don't want that when I'm trying to get out of this pod. As much as I like Turbo over here, we're playing to win. I think I want to go Jacoby or Tyson. I'm going to go Jacoby. Kind of maybe a little bit of a floor play, but at 122, if we look at the best ball, we go out here to the best ball zone on Fantasy Fitness. We look at Jacoby Myers. We'll go to the player volatility index. This is the quadrant graph that I built. So Jacoby Myers, if we look at him here, he's in the studs category. He is right here. So he's kind of, you know, he's closer to a floor than one of the top guys, but he's clearly in this studs category. All game average over the last 3 years on a season-long basis was 14.53, and he had a best game score of 29.1. If we drop that down to just even say like last year, see if I can find him. It's gonna be a little more difficult. Hold on one sec. He's kind of here. If you just look at last year, now he was traded and learned a new offense. He's kind of borderline between a floor and a stud. You know, not quite as good, but 10.99 was his all game average, 21.3. So he can still get you one of those 20 plus point games. May not happen as often, but I think he's fine where we're taking him. Quick recap though: Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, Bijan Monty, JCM. We got Drake May, Terry McLaurin stacked up with Daniels, Makai Lemon, Matthew Golden, and then Jacoby Myers for the bring back with those Washington pieces. Hartman says Malik Willis 2 picks after Dart must feel terrible. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, he's got the rushing upside, but I hear what you're saying. I do think the gap could be a little wider there. Quite a bit wider. All right, here. We'll see what Hartman wants to do. You dog. All right. He takes my boy, Trey Tucker. Had a feeling that could happen. But that's a sick pick. Got to give it to him. I'm going to go Boston here. Yeah, let's go Boston. Like this price on Boston. We are in time boxed. It's not like BBM where it started off in like the 160s. So we'll grab him here. And then quite a bit of tight ends to pick from here. I'll probably just grab one of these tight ends that's left over. Hartman says Naylor is still available for me. Yes, he is. I think what I'll end up doing, though, is either take Berg or Chig. Chig gives me the stack. That's going to turn into like a triple. I think that's fine. But I also like this price on Ferg. And he's like a 1v1. I mean, I guess you take the season-long correlation over that. I don't know. Actually, that's just... I already got the double. I don't think I need the triple. And at that price, 146 with Dart as kind of a 1v1, you never know. He could catch 2 touchdown passes week 17, and then Dart's got to, do his scrambling crap and score some points, play catch up against those Cowboys week 17. So if I didn't have a stack, if I didn't already have a double with like JCM and McLaurin, then I definitely would probably stack up Chig there. But I'm getting a 12 pick slide here, and I've got some correlation with Dart. I feel like I have to do that. I have to take Ferg there. But yeah, that Trey Tucker pick, I'm still recovering from the Trey Tucker snipe. Turbo says, sniped and flamed on live stream is a crazy tag team. Yeah, a little bit. All right, I got to get some more running backs, and it's thinning out like crazy. Probably should have 4 by this point, but I feel okay because I have Bijan. If I didn't have Bijan, then, this would definitely be light. But we'll be fine. We'll get 3 or 4. Or so I should say 2 or 3 more. We'll have at least 5, maybe 6 on this build. Could probably stop with Trey, McBride, and Ferguson here, especially because we picked up some extra value on Ferg, and we took the elite at the 2-3 turn. So I don't mind stopping at 2 on this build. We could even stop at 2 with Daniels and Dart. That's a very acceptable 2 quarterback room. So that leaves us like 6-8, 2-6-8-2. If we wanted to do something like that, we could go 2-6-7-3, something like that. Now this Tracy fall, like this is getting pretty real. I mean, he's consistently back here at this point. Interesting. See what ends up happening there. All right, I am going to take Dylan Sampson over Tracy, just because Dylan Sampson, I think he's a great pick back here. And then Tracy might fall anyways. And then I could just take the double up on RBs here, or I could grab another wide receiver. Okay, he goes Flournoy. I like that pick. Let's go Pat Bryant here. I like Pat Bryant. I don't think I have to click Tracy there. He's fine, but it's not like a must click. Let's see who the Broncos are playing. I just kind of like Pat Bryant at this price, but we'll see who the Broncos are playing. Doesn't really matter. Vegas, Buffalo, and New England. So no correlation, just a good click. They're at 170. So quick recap of this team: Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart. We got Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery, JCM, and Dylan Sampson, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Mekhi Lemon, Matthew Golden, Jacoby Myers, Denzel Boston, Pat Bryant, and then we have Trey McBride and Jake Ferguson here. We got him at 146, full round of ADP. Slide on him, or not quite, like within a point, a pick, but you get my point. I think that's pretty good. Grab one more or two more running backs. If I wanted to grab like a late Michael Mayer, I could do that. I do like the Michael Mayer click in the 18th round. I don't think I need a third tight end, but the contingent upside, the low ownership, the correlation with Trey McBride, those are reasons to click him. We'll see what running backs come back here. I know a lot of running backs have been getting pulled up. You don't get some of the choices we were getting in the 18th round anymore. They've become kind of a staple of the 17th round. So we'll see what happens there. And then at the end, we're going to review a whole bunch of teams just to kind of see how everybody's builds played out. Again, appreciate you guys all stopping by the channel. If you're not already subscribed, smash that subscribe button, hit the like, help me get the word out on this channel. I'm going to be doing probably another puppy or two today. We'll get a BBM in as well. And yeah, we're just going to rip some drafts here on this Tuesday afternoon. We are 15 days, 4 hours, and 34 minutes from kickoff. So we are coming down the home stretch. Just over 2 weeks until 2026 NFL season is upon us. Gonna get my redraft. Gonna do my redraft home league draft here next week. So that's coming up in about a week with my friends and brother-in-laws and stuff. So looking forward to that. Kind of waiting for this last preseason game. Don't want to deal with an injury. I'm gonna grab Emmett Johnson on this this foot injury news that we heard about today with Kenneth Walker. You just never know. So definitely want to have some builds with some Emmett Johnson. He's also been carving out a role. Oh, and I just get word here from Hartman that Olave got hurt today too. So yeah, I mean, the injuries are just piling up at this point. Let's go Malachi Fields. I'll at least get a little piece here of that. I get a stack, kind of a cheap back stack here. Not a back stack, but yeah, I guess it is a back stack. Yeah, Dart and Malachi Fields here to go with the Ferguson bring back. Stop here at 8. So this is going to be the wide receiver room. We go Drake London, Terry McLaurin stacked up with Jaden Daniels, Mekhi Lemon, Matthew Golden, Jacoby Myers, Denzel Boston, Pat Bryant, and then Malachi Fields for the stack with Dart. Again, we have the bring back with Ferguson, add value, 146. Running backs, maybe add one more, or I add a tight end. Yes, if Jacoby Brissett makes it all the way back, he would be reasonable as like a late third, just because at his price. Don't think I want to do that. I did go to rushing quarterbacks. I think this is a fine two to stop at. But Bijan, Monty, JCM, Dylan Sampson, and Emmett Johnson. Let's see. What running backs do we have potentially click here? Nothing really good, to be honest with you. I mean, Connor's still hurt. Maybe like a Justice Hill, but I have no correlation with somebody like that. Katron, I already took the bet on JCM. I guess like Sean Tucker and Alvin Kamara in the 200s. I guess he's kind of washed, but I would consider it at this price. Otherwise, Do I get my first Charlie Kolar share and 1v1 with Emmett Johnson? Is that the key? Is that the key to winning? Oh, Trenny takes my Michael Mayer, so that's off the table. That was kind of where I was creeping down to find Mayer, but I couldn't find him. It makes sense now. I mean, could just grab one of these gross picks like Jerry, Judy, or Ridley. Trying to think. There's just not a lot here. I may have to just take Charlie Kolar. And join Shady Advice and Sacrilegious drafting him at the end of every draft. I mean, I feel pretty good about that too. So I guess I'll just take the extra raw points that Brissett's going to give me here. At that price, I do have McBride. There's a reason to take him. It's a stack. So I'd rather go Brissett, I think, there than Kolar. It's close, but all right, quick recap. We'll go over everybody's team. We'll look at Turbo's team, my team. We'll look at Hartman's team, Nick's team, Boner Brian's team, and Trenny's team. So mine was a 3-5. Well, actually, let's just start at the top. We'll go with Turbo since he's at the 101. So Turbo goes 3-6-7-2. He gets Dak, Malik Willis, and Cam Ward. We have at running back here, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, J.K. Dobbins, Chuba Hubbard, Tajay Spears, Kalen Black, and Seth McGowan. I haven't read up on him a lot, but I haven't seen him get a click. So I need to do a little bit more research on Seth McGowan because he is getting clicked quite a bit at this point. His 7 wide receivers are Pickens, Neighbors. So he's got the 1v1 with the stack, the Dak stack, and the bring back here with Neighbors. DJ Moore, Brian Thomas, pulls up DJ Moore, but gets the slide on Brian Thomas. So it's an interesting pairing there. You don't see this all that often. Romeo Dobbs, Ryan Flournoy for the double, and then Caleb Douglas, 1v1 correlation there with DJ Moore. And then he has the elite tight end here in Colston Loveland, and Jawan Johnson stops at 2. That's going to be how I'm going to build that too. When I get like a Colston Loveland, those types of guys, like 90% of the time you stop at 2. The 7 here, Pickens, Neighbors, Moore, Thomas, Dobbs, Flournoy, Douglas. That feels like a perfect 7 to me in terms of like draft capital investment. You got 24, 25, 49, 72. So 4 before 80, and then comes back, not too long after. So that feels like a perfect 7. Gibbs, Hero, comes back at 95 to get Dobbins and Chuba. Those feel like good profiles in like a hero build like this. And gets Spears, and then takes 2 upside swings here. Anything happens to CMC, Black is probably the guy, although it hasn't been announced that he's the RB2. It feels like it's trending that way. And then Seth McGowan, this is just, a handcuff to Taylor. So I like how he built this. This is just like a classic hero, I want to know if I would call it an extreme hero, but it's pretty close because you're not coming back till 96. And then Prescott, Willis, Ward. Willis is stacked up with Douglas, and then you got the Moore bring back. Cam to Spears. No other pieces there. But yeah, I like this team. This is a really solid team. I mean, structurally very sound. I think he nailed it. I think that's an awesome build. All right, this is mine. This is 3582. We have Daniels, Dart, and Jacoby Brissett. Probably didn't need Jacoby, but at 215, nobody was going to draft him. I had the McBride piece, so figured I would just scoop him there. We have Bijan, Monty, JCM. So kind of 3 before 100. I think these guys are going to be the respective starters in their backfield. Obviously, we know Bijan is. And then come back. I'm just counting on some cheap screens and, touchdowns in the receiving game here from Samson. We also, we still do have the injury concerns for Quinshawn. He is coming back from a pretty gruesome injury. So I do want to be mixing in some Samson there. And then Emmett Johnson, this was just kind of like the handcuff, kind of like what Turbo did, but this is just my version of handcuffing Walker with the foot injury news today. Wide receivers, London, Terry stacked up, Lemon, Golden, Myers for the bring back, Boston, Pat Bryant, and then Malachi Fields stacked up with Dart, and then I bring it back over here with Drake Ferguson, and then I had McBride stacked up with Brissett. No Raiders bringbacks because Tucker got taken, but that's okay. I think it's pretty solid, maybe a little light in the running back room, but I think it's fine. I feel like it's a pretty solid build. All right, let's go to Hartman here at the 4 slot. He goes 2 elites in the quarterback room, stops at 2. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Running backs, Scatabo, Bucky, White, Jones, Coleman, and Kareem Hunt. He is visiting the Detroit Lions today. He may end up just taking over for Pacheco. We'll have to see what happens there if he signs. But feels like a solid room. You've got 2 up top, come back and get White and Jones, pass catching backs. Coleman, who's been looking good in camp. No correlation on that, but I think he's a good click, kind of in that range. And then Kareem Hunt, who could be signing with the Detroit Lions. Wide receivers, he goes 8. Chase, Ladd, Pierce, Pittman, Trey Tucker, Trey Harris, Devon Vele, and Zachariah Branch. So let's see, he's got Burrow stacked up with Chase. He's got some New Orleans and Atlanta for week 17 here. And then, yeah, I mean, just good picks. There's some correlation. It's not overly correlated, but there's definitely some correlation here. He also has Trey Harris stacked up. Double stack Ladd and Trey Harris with Herbert. No bringbacks for Kansas City, but team stack there. And then Bowers and Schultz, I think that's like a perfect 2. Stop at 2 when you got Bowers, and then you grab Schultz here. So yeah, I mean, structurally, it's like a really solid team. Less correlated than like some of the other, the first 2 builds, but I think all the profiles and the investments make a lot of sense. So yeah, everybody so far is like kicking ass. All right, we move on to Nick Bach 23. What up, Nick? He has Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix. He goes 2772. Okay, this one we don't see as often, so let's investigate. Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, C-Rod, Woody Marks, Najee, Kamani Vidal, and Pirine. So some late stabs here on some low ownership clicks in Harris, Vidal, and Pirine. And then up top, he's got Jeremiah Love and Jacobs. Assuming Love is healthy, that should probably be enough. It's going to depend a little bit on his health. And then C-Rod, if he's the goal line back or just kind of the power back there, Woody Marks is going to be involved in third down. So I think those 4 probably do it. And then he takes some stabs on some kind of lower ownership clicks here in Harris, Vidal, and Pirine. Yeah, I mean, 6 or 7, I think that's fine. Let's see if it's enough in the other rooms. JSN, AJ Brown, Parker Washington, Marv, Jordan Tyson, Khalil Shakir, and Travis Hunter. I think, yeah, the early the double anchor up here with JSN and Brown, that gives you a lot of flexibility. Stop at 7. He goes Parker, Marv, Tyson. Assuming Tyson's not out too long, gets the really good price on Shakir at 149, and then Travis Hunter. So yeah, I mean, assuming Hunter's playing enough offense, Tyson's not out too long. That's kind of would be my only concern, is it's two guys that are, you know, questionable in terms of how much offensive production you're going to get, but he does have the four guys here that you can kind of rely on up top. So I think that's good. And then Kraft and Sadiq. You know, I may have sacrificed like a running back for either a wide receiver or a tight end, but outside of that, I think this is perfectly acceptable. Solid team. And then what do we have? We have Boner Bryan. All right, Boner Bryan, 2673. He's got Hurts and Stafford. I think that's a really solid 2. Etienne, Stevenson, Harvey, Mitchell, B-Rob, and Ray Davis. So let's see. He's got 2 starters in their respective backfields, at least for now, with Ramadre. We'll see if, you know, Hendo makes like a late push. But as of now, I would say Stevenson's the starter. That's a pretty 50-50 split. ETN at 43. I think that's a good price on him. Harvey, who looked good in his game, you know, and he's going to be used a lot in the passing game. I think people are concerned about him in the rushing department, but I don't think that's how he's going to be used all that often. He's going to be more of a weapon, more of a pass catcher. So I like the Harvey click. Keaton Mitchell at 139. Good price on him. B-Rob and Ray Davis as like 2 strong handcuffs to Cook and Bijan. Let's see what he does. He does stack up Smith and Adams. He also has Nico and St. Brown. So this is like a real strong 4. Plus you get Debo, grabs Jacoby Lane, who's been all the talk in Ravens training camp. And then Wicks, 1v1 here with Debo. And yeah, with Debo. And then he's got Pitts in a 1v1 with ETN, Pat Fryermuth, and Gunnar Helm. Good price on Gunnar Helm here. Man, all these builds are just like so solid, so structurally sound. There's not a lot to really say. I mean, everybody's crushing it. I think that's another really good build. And then we have Trenny, 2323 on deck here. Let's go at the 11. 3573. Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Bryce Young. I like that 3. I like that investment. Like if you're going to go 3, I think that's a good 3. Good pricing. I'm sure he stacked them up. We'll have to take a look and see what he did there. Breece Hall at 35. Pulls up Swift to 38. Quinshawn at 59. Love that. Price and Malik Davis. Okay, so getting a low ownership click here. I think he's kind of pushing for that RB2 spot, maybe. I don't know. But he would be the most reasonable replacement to Javonte if something happens to Javonte. Blue's not going to consolidate and run between the tackles. So that makes sense if he's just like a pure handcuff to Javonte. And then we have CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Coker, Shaheed, Keenan Allen, and Ted Hurst. All right, so we have Goff to Laporta, brings it back with Swift. He's got Love to Reed. No Houston pieces. And then he's got Bryce Young and Coker. He also has the bring back with Shaheed here. And he has the bring back also with Price. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a nice little 2v2 for that game. Investment wise, I think it's solid. I'm just looking at this wide receiver room, 11, 14, 83. So 3 before 80 comes back and gets Coker, Shaheed. Yeah, I think you can stop at 7 there. I might want an 8th, but I think 7's totally reasonable. And then Laporta, Otten, and of course, Michael Mayer. Love that click. This is a Michael Mayer friendly station. So I think that's a solid 3. Could you get away with just Otten and Laporta? I think you could, but I would probably want a 3rd on a build like that. He's kind of consolidating into Tampa here too with Hurst and Otten. No Rams pieces, but that's fine. Yeah, did you need Malik Davis? I don't know. You could have stopped at these 4. That's like a really solid 4, and you could have used that maybe as a wide receiver, but I don't think you had to do that. And this is like a nice low ownership click. So if anything happens to Javonte, you could have a leg up on the field. So yeah, I think everybody like tore this one up. I see a lot of just like really solid builds across the board. No builds that I would be like, have a ton of criticism or feedback for. So, and not that I'm the guy to like give that advice, just to be clear. I'm like all you guys, but I'm on a stream, so what the hell, I'll give some feedback. All right, so that's the puppy. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Do you guys want to rip another puppy, or do you guys just chilling? I'm kind of down for whatever. I'll wait a couple minutes in the see if anybody posts anything in the chat, and then I might either go over to BBM or first quarter, guess it would be. But I'm going to give it just a minute here. I'm going to go run and grab some water. I'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we'll decide what we're going to do next. Be right back. Appreciate you guys stopping by, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. All right. Let's see. We're back. And we're going to rip another one. I guess, let me just check I guess I'll just... go... Let's see. I'm gonna pull up that that BBMDB real quick. We'll just take a look at it, see what the BBMs thought about that sim. All right. Looks like if this was the one, I think it came out pretty good. Again, I don't put too much weight into these, but it looked like it liked that one, 35.5 on the advancement. So I'm going to say it was a good build because BBMDB said it was a good build, but no, all jokes aside. I just look at these sometimes. I'm curious, but you can see this room. It's just like nobody really, I guess they didn't like Ben. We talked about Ben 23. He was the donation, as Hartman put it. So, but everybody else, like we kind of, it was all pretty flat through here. So kind of fun. It's interesting to see that. But it's just one data point. Don't put a ton of stock into it. I've got plenty of builds that I thought were like totally badass builds, like what I thought would be like an A or an S, and it comes out as like an F or whatever. So it's always interesting to see what BBMDB likes to do there. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a BBM here, and then we will get that going. Actually, shoot, just did that on my other screen. Looks like waiting for 3 on that. So let me just flip this. So we'll do the BBM for the day. And then we are going to, I don't know, probably head back over to the other streets, the Puppy 4 streets after this. But this one, looks like I got the 5 slot. So we're going to rip this BBM from the 5 slot, and then we'll probably go do a couple more puppies after this. Again, appreciate you guys all stopping by the channel. That was a fun Puppy 4. Now we're moving over to BBM. I've got 16 of these left. We're 15 days, 4 hours, and 9 minutes from kickoff. So one a day until this thing fills. And then that's, where we're going from there. But coming down to the finish line here on BBM, I do want to there are some players that I'm a little bit lower on. I talked about Lemon earlier. I wanted to get a little bit more Lemon in this tournament. Don't feel like I've clicked him really hardly at all. And now that we're coming down to the end, I feel like I want to get a couple shares of him. Otherwise, I'm going to pull up my notes real quick and see what other players I wanted to get a little bit more of. Give me just a sec. All right, we're going to take Puka here. He's falling to 5. So a Puka at 5 sounds pretty good. And then let's see. So JSN gets pulled up to 4. Puka falls to 5. We have Taylor coming off at 6. CMC at 7. Brown at 8. Lamb comes off at 9. While we do that, I'm going to pull up my notes. As I mentioned, I'm trying to get a little bit more of some guys that I'm lower on, so I want to get my notes pulled up. Let me do that real quick. Fantasy fitness. I guess real quick too, I do want to just promo Fantasy Fitness. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. www.fantasyfitness.io. This is the app that I've been building for the last year and a half or so. Started off strictly as a fantasy app, and I've since added in the nutrition side of it. But you get 3 immersive hubs. You get the front office, the best ball zone, and the classroom. Front office, this is where basically, you log into your computer for the day. I spotlight a player every day. I pull in all the latest fantasy news. So you get fantasy news from 5 different news sources. I pull this down 5 times a day. So you don't need to go to 5 different websites anymore to read up on your fantasy news. You just come here and you have all the latest. As soon as they post an article, within an hour or 2, I've got that article posted right here. This isn't behind a paywall. This is all included. I'll go back there in a second. Let me get this pick in. Oh, I was going to take him there. All right, that's fine. I'll grab Brock Bowers. I haven't clicked him in a long time in BBM, so it'd be good to get a share of Brock Bowers. We'll grab him here at pick 20. So Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers start on this one. And then picking here at 29, and then I'll finish up what I was saying, though, about fantasy fitness for you guys. Picking at 29. All right, let's see. All right, we have Olave who got hurt. Well, how bad was it? Undisclosed injury. Man. It's like a pretty good price on him, but I don't know, depending on how bad this injury is, I'm not sure if it's worth the click. He goes anyway, so I guess it's kind of between these guys, or I go Zay. Another person I haven't clicked a lot of and I'm pretty low on exposure-wise is Kyron. maybe I just click him here. I feel like, you know, we get the pairing. I'm just going to go ahead and grab Kyren Williams here. I think I've only got like 4% of him in BBM, maybe even less than that, 4 or 5%, somewhere in that range. So we'll grab Kyren here. And then, as I was saying, though, you guys, if you go out here, it's not behind the paywall. You have the news center. This is all the latest fantasy news from 5 different news sources, plus filters if you're trying to sort by a particular category. You can just topic, you can do that. You get all the player. Every player gets their own profile page. That's also totally, you know, not behind the paywall. So you can go to any player, look up their profile, all the metadata about that player. I've got 3 different algorithms I'm working on here. You get the overall score, talent score, team score. You get last year's stats and then their career stats. So you can kind of compare how did they do last year relative to sort of their career averages. You also get their college stats, rushing and receiving. If you're a running back, you get their athleticism card, their team environment. And then we have up to 3 videos that I've curated that you can look at, and then their positional competition, and then coach write-ups. So who's the head coach, who's the OC, all that's, again, entirely free. You get the same thing, but from like a team perspective. So team index page, you get head coach, OC, you get their wins over under. I'm going to stop for a second. Waiting for 2 here. Got some running backs that are backing up here. We've got ETN, Jacobs, and Swift. I think I would want to click Swift here if he makes it. Guy's already got 3 running backs. What's he going to do? He goes Adams. I'm going to grab Swift. And then I'm going to try to grab JMO on the way back. Let's see if that happens. But you get the wins over under total. This is like the Vegas. I think it comes from MGM is my source. But then you can look at each individual team profile page. You get an overall team score, their passing score, their rushing score. This is their play volume, their play balance, and their production. You also get kind of their drives, first downs relative to league average, efficiency relative to league average, and then scoring and turnover. And then every player that's sort of fantasy relevant sits here, and then you get a heat map that shows you, you know, in the age category for their respective position, are they old, or are they medium, or are they young? And based on that, you know, the heat map will correspond, green obviously being better, red and orange being worse. So again, that's all included. Whoops. And then I have player rankings. I had eliminator rankings when that was opened. And then you get 5 immersive hubs. You get that front office, you get the best ball zone, which includes the team and player projections. It includes that quadrant graph that I built. This is the player volatility index. He's not there, so we're going to go, guess we go more Evans. I was hoping for JMO, but he ended up going at 49 actually. So we'll grab Moore on this one. I think it's kind of close between Moore and Evans. Fine either way on that, but we'll grab Moore. But yeah, you can use this player volatility index to kind of see, are they studs? Are they duds? Are they spikers or floors? You get last 3 years worth of data broken down by position group. And then you can kind of hide and show the labels if you're searching for somebody. So that's pretty cool. That's in the best ball zone. And then you have the championship weeks. This is every team's playoff schedule, weeks 15, 16, and 17. And then you can open up the accordion and see kind of what their ADP is, and then what the ADP is of the players in on those other teams. So you can kind of try to piece together how you might want to put together a build. So again, just another thing. Survival, this was for Eliminator, so you could see like weeks 1 through 15, 1 through 14 matchups. But yeah, check that out. That's the app I've been working on. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program here and watch this, the rest of this BBM unfold. Hartman says Olave seemed like it was minor. He walked off. All right, hoping for the best there on Olave. He wasn't on the board, unfortunately, so I didn't click him, but that would have been, probably would have taken him there at that price if he was on the clock or on the board when I was on the clock. I like Marv here. What's up with BTJ? Should be fine after shoulder scare. Good Lord, man, everybody's getting hurt. I think Marv paired up with Bowers for week 17 would be a pretty nice combo if he comes back here at 68. He doesn't. All right, what do I want to do here? I could go Daniels. I could go Williams for the Swift correlation. I could go Warren. I think I'm just going to go Hurts. I want to try to get this Hurts lemon stack at 77. This is something that I'm lower, that I have less of, but I want to get a couple of these in BBM. I was able to do it once a few weeks ago, and I want to do it here. I just think for like back half of the year, second half, I think Lemon could do pretty well down the stretch. And I do want to have one of those rookies with some high draft capital who could be a factor in the back half of the season, could have some relevance in those championship weeks. So I'm going to take Hurts here. I normally don't take him over Daniels, but on this particular build, I did, because I'm trying to target this lemon, this Hurts lemon stack. All right, we're 2 away. All right, I'm going to take it. It's sitting here for me. I wanted to do this. So we're going to go Hurts and Lemon. That's Puka, Moore, Lemon, Bowers as our tight end. And then running backs are Kyron and Swift. I mean, I could have gone Pollard there. I have quite a bit of Pollard in this particular tournament. I just want to have a couple of these in the portfolio because, like I said, I think Lemon could be a guy down the stretch that could get it going. And in BBM, I just want to have a few of, 2 or 3 of those stacks. So Kyron and Swift. We'll see, maybe we get like a fall on Laporta, and I just do like a Laporta Swift thing and stop at 90, stop at 2. I would possibly do that if Laporta's there. If not in that range, I like Harvey too. I like Dowdle, of course. Dowdle and Harvey if they make it back. Otherwise, Laporta would be kind of interesting for like a 1v1. I'm assuming Pollard's not going to be there. He could be, but I'm assuming he's not going to be. All right, let me get back to the board view. Again, waiting for 7. And I want to make sure I'm looking at my championship weeks here. So Buffalo has Chicago. So we do get that week 15 correlation, which I do like. If I'm going to get out of week 17, I kind of target week 15 next, because that's our 1 out of 14 week, I believe is week 15. Yeah, this is our hardest week to advance, 1 out of 14. So if we can get a little correlation, again, I'm not going to like jump tiers to make it happen, but if it happens, then I think it's a good thing. So we'll see if Harvey gets back to us. I think he would be my target here. Buffalo, Chicago, though, that's going to be more in Swift. Ah, dog. Okay, Polks takes him. So what do we want to do now? This is kind of an interesting range. I don't love it. Let's go Dobbins, I guess. Dobbins. I don't take a ton of Dobbins, but I guess I will here. Don't really love that click. I was hoping for Harvey more than him, but we'll settle for Dobbins. That bites. And then here, this range just, it's pretty terrible. I guess I could go Golden. I could go Pittman. Golden's gone. Pierce at 101. I feel like that's still too high. We just go Pitts and stop at 2 at this point. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I want to play this. I hate this range. All right, I'm just going to pull up Kenny Gainwell. Or I just pull up Stafford. I don't like paying 100 for Stafford, but I do have a double here. Yeah, I'm going to pull up Stafford here and stop at these two and hope that Gainwell comes back. He has occasionally made it back here. If not, there's some other guys in that range that I might take, but feel good about Kyron Swift. I wish this was Harvey. But Hartman says they sniped you on Denver backup and made you take the starter instead. Yeah, that's reasonable, but I like it. Again, I don't think of him so much as like a pure running back. I think of him more, and it's going to sound, kind of cliche here, but like the Joker role that like, Peyton always talks about. He kind of is that, maybe going to be in that Joker role. He's like a receiver. He's not great running between the tackles, but just the way I think they're going to utilize him in the red zone. He had 12 touchdowns last year, I believe it was. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, he had a ton of touchdowns. Yeah, he had 7 touchdowns on the ground. He had 5 touchdowns in the receiving game. So, I mean, double-digit touchdowns. Yeah, the receiving yards weren't there, but I mean, at the end of the day, touchdowns matter quite a bit in fantasy. So I think in that respect, he's just kind of a utility knife. When I think of him purely as a rusher, then yeah, he stinks. He's bad between the tackles. He bounces everything outside. He's inefficient in the rushing game. And normally I don't pull up Stafford to this price, but I didn't think he was necessarily going to come back. And it was a double. So I did it for that reason. If it wasn't a double, I don't think I would have pulled him up there. I like it would have been good to get Gainwell as like a bring back. Maybe I should have pushed it, but I didn't. Concepcion sounds interesting here. Rashad White, I think I don't know if I need him right now. I might be okay pushing. I kind of want this price on Fannin, though. That's interesting. Got a Fannin fall to 116. See if he makes it. What is this guy doing? Oof. Fannin at 116 is pretty legit. As is Concepcion. I think I'm gonna go. Go Concepcion. I don't know. With Bowers, I think I wanted to just kind of push the tight end a little bit. I like Concepcion here. Could probably, I'm going to run with these 2 rookies. I won't take any more. That one's close for me. That one's pretty close. Maybe with Makai Lemon, you don't take the second rookie that early. I don't know. I definitely don't want more than 2 rookies on this build at the same position group, at least. Kyle Monungai's fallen, but that doesn't work out great for my build because I already have Swift. So I think I would probably pivot off that and go to like maybe C-Rod. He's there. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of just stuck in between like players and tiers here. All right, 1 pick away. I'm going to go with C-Rod. We'll grab our 4th here. Got 2 guys that are involved in the passing game here with Williams and Swift, and then 2 guys that really are going to be more just kind of first and second down grinders, don't really catch passes, but they are tethered to good offenses in Denver and Jacksonville. So I feel like that's fine. So quick recap of this team. We have a 2-4-4-1. Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, running backs, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, and Chris Rodriguez. Wide receivers, Puka Nacua, DJ Moore, Makai Lemon, and Casey Concepcion. Feeling a little light there. We'll see what options we have coming up here. Kind of in between. Again, we're kind of in between tiers and just players that I don't necessarily need at certain position groups, but that's kind of the window we're in. So I may have to do a pull-up here at 140. We'll just have to see how this plays out. All right. Start of the 12th round here. Again, if you're tuning in late, this is a BBM here on the Fantasy Fitness Network. Appreciate you guys all stopping by. Like and subscribe. And after this, I'm probably going to head back over to the Puppy 4 streets, do another couple puppies, rip those, and yeah, just kind of chill, hang out. Thinking this one through a little bit. Kind of an interesting, just the way the board's fallen. I mean, I'm fine with it. Feel like it's a decent build. Don't normally pay 101 though for Stafford. I would be better if he falls back. But I guess what is his ADP? It's 110. So I mean, it's not like a huge pull up. For the double, I think it makes sense. We could go Boston and double in that, but I'm not going to do that. And I don't really need those other positions, so I'm just going to go get my dude. We're going to pull him up to 140. And maybe that's early, but I don't care. Because I think he should be going, like I genuinely think he should be going in like the 120s or earlier. Like he should be going around like Xavier Worthy and Romeo Dobbs and all those guys. Like, someone's got to explain to me why the wide receiver 1 on a Clint Kubiak offense is going in the 140s. I mean, I would straight up take him over Xavier Worthy. I might take him straight up over Myers. Yeah, this is just a ridiculous price on Trey Tucker. and his price has never corrected all summer, and so I have like a ridiculous amount of him, and I don't care. Because even if he busts in the 150s, like, how's it really going to hurt your team like all that much? I mean, we already have zeros on our builds in like the, well, Pearsall was in the top 100. He's a zero if you had him on your builds. We have Higgins in the 120s, 130s. All right. Here, let's go Jalen McMillan. He's a bring back to all of our pieces in the Rams. I think he's got a chance to be really good this year on that team. Maybe you go Chig there. I don't know, but Jalen McMillan, I feel like I'm still a little behind at wide receiver. So happy to click him here at 149. Recap of this team. We have Hurts and Stafford, Kyron Swift, Dobbins, and C-Rod, Puka, Moore, Lemon, Concepcion, Tucker, and Jalen McMillan, and then Brock Bowers here as our tight end. We have we have two pieces of this Vegas offense in Bowers and Tucker. Maybe we can get a bring back. Trying to think of what there is late for Arizona. Is there anything? I don't even know if there is. No. So there's not going to be any bringbacks on this unless we want to grab like a low ownership Kendrick Bourne or something like that at the very, very back, which honestly in a tournament like this might not be a bad idea to just get like a very low ownership Kendrick Bourne as like a 18th round click. Not a lot of people will have that in BBM. Maybe for good reason, but you never know. I mean, injuries happen. Kendrick Bourne, I think he's the wide receiver 3. So kind of leave the door open for that. Wicks here would be pretty sweet. That would be a stack. That would be a double. I don't know if I want a double. I mean, I'd be fine with it. Trying to think of what else I would do here. I mean, the running backs thin out after Samson too. And I really like Samson. I have a ton of him. So I would be fine clicking him if he makes it back here to 164. Whoops. Kind of torn between those two. Iron, Swift, Dobbins, C-Rod. Yeah, definitely want a fifth. Don't necessarily think I'm going to get him back. So we're going to take Dylan Sampson here. And then we'll probably grab one of these. There's a whole crap load of wide receivers here that I like. I mean, we could grab Adonai Mitchell, Pat Bryant. We could grab Caleb Douglas for the bring back. With our Moore piece, we saw Turbo do that in the last one. I thought that was pretty cool. He also stacked that up. I don't have the stack, but I still like that idea of going like Caleb Douglas and Moore for week 17. Also like Malik Washington too, so I'd be fine with like either of those maybe. There's a whole bunch to pick from here. Could consolidate into Denver with Dobbins and Pat Bryant. Bunch of ways to play this. Jets, who do the Jets play? They play Arizona. Okay. Assuming Jacoby Lane is gone. Yeah. It's kind of between these three. Let's go Pat. Maybe that's a homer pick, but I'm going to go Pat Bryant there. Dobbins and Pat Bryant. And then we have Trey Tucker and Back Bowers. That's a week 15 2v2, which I like, you know, because again, that's our 1 out of 14. So we're going to go Broncos and Denver for week 15. We won't get the correlation with Arizona, and I probably won't end up with any New England pieces either, but that's fine. I think if we're going to correlate to another week, it should be week 15. And I could grab like a, I don't know, a Greg Dulcich if I really wanted like a 1v1 with more. Fantasy Dog, he says he completely agrees with me on the Trey Tucker take. Well, I love to hear that. Xavier Worthy is Marvin Mims, quote unquote, Worthy is just a bad price. Yeah, I agree. I haven't been clicking a lot of Xavier Worthy. I'm at like probably 3%, 2-3% in BBM. You know, we don't really need a third, but I guess like a Mendoza with a double stack isn't like a horrible idea here. I'm picking at, I still have 3 more picks. So 16, 17, and 18. Man, you can't give away Tracy at this point. You cannot give this guy away. $188. I have to at least consider that. I like Cade Otton though. I think I would click Cade Otton for the double bring back week 17. I like Otton. I could stop at 2. Go like Otton Bowers. If he makes it back here. Do I take him over Douglas though? Do I try to get Douglas and get Otton on the way back? 2. What are those 2s that these guys have? Kraft and Johnson. Bannon and Hawkinson. I don't think he's necessarily coming back. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming back. I think I'm going to take Otton here if he makes it to me. Tracy does go. And I do like that Douglas click, though. I guess I could settle for a different... I guess I will go Douglas here. And then if Otton goes, then I'll settle for like Pat Freiermuth, maybe. I don't... Is it worth the risk? Might not be worth the risk, but that price, you don't get these prices anymore on Douglas. So I figured we take that for the 1v1 with more, and then we hope that Otton comes back. We already have the one of those bring back pieces. It would be nice to get 2. But I mean, I'd be fine with Pat just sort of as a standalone piece here. He does correlate to some of our Cleveland pieces with Concepcion and Samson, so it wouldn't be like the worst trade-off. Just gonna hope he makes it back. He doesn't. Maybe I should have. I don't know. It's fine. Maybe this is my excuse to take Charlie Kolar. I can get some week 16 correlation with I can go Colby Parkinson on this too. I mean, we'll see. Elijah Arroyo, yeah, I'd be okay with that, actually. Or Evan Ingram. Is it worth taking like Sean Tucker here? And then just waiting on the tight end? Just thinking this through. And I feel like Pat could hit though. Pat, if we look at that player, if if we look at the player volatility index, Pat's sitting in a pretty nice spot here. He's kind of sits between, well, he's right here. He's in the spikers. 28.1, just doesn't have like the high season long average. 9.9 is his season long average, but his best game score is 28.1. If we drop that down to 2 years, he's over here in the studs. He's at still 28.1. So that 28.1 came in the last 2 years. If we look at it on a single, just over last year, let's see where he came in. So last year he fell up into the spikers category, and he was, well, that game came last year, 28.1. Hartman asks, how much Dylan Sampson do I have? I have like 14, 15%. I'm like pretty overweight Dylan Sampson, but in that range, I just don't like a lot of the other tight ends. And I think he's going to get a lot of cheap dump offs from either Watson or Shedeur. So, I'm pretty overweight Sampson. And I think he was a really good, a decent, better than decent prospect, like pretty damn good prospect coming out of Tennessee. So yeah, I've been clicking the Sampson quite a bit. Now, if Sean Tucker makes it back, I think he would make sense as a sixth to this build because we have Stafford and we have all those Rams pieces. We do have the one piece with Jalen McMillan, but to get kind of a 3v2 for that game would be kind of sweet. If not, I don't think I need another wide receiver, but I could tack on like a Ted Hurst if I just want to stay in that game. Or we could move over and get like a Colby Parkinson. I mean, Sean Tucker's here. I feel like I just do that. Yeah, let's just grab Sean Tucker. Ends up as a 2.682. We have Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford. We have Kyron, Swift, Dobbins, C-Rod, Sampson, and Sean Tucker as our running backs. Wide receivers are Puka, Moore, Lemon, Concepcion, Tucker, Jalen McMillan, Pat Bryant, and Caleb Douglas, and then Brock Bowers and Pat Freiermuth. So correlation, we have Hurts to Lemon, no San Francisco pieces. We have Stafford to Kyron to Puka. And then we have bringbacks with Jalen McMillan and Sean Tucker. Swift is correlated to Moore week 15. And then we have the Denver pieces correlated to the Vegas pieces for week 15. So Tucker and Bowers, and then Pat Bryant and Dobbins. And then what do we have real quick? I just want to look at this Jacksonville piece with C-Rod because he's kind of just chilling there. Yeah, nothing correlated there. That's fine. I think he's just a good back on a good offense. Sampson. Where's Cleveland? Giants, Baltimore, Indy. No correlation there. And then we already talked about Sean Tucker. And then the Miami 1v1 with Moore and Douglas. Pittsburgh. Baltimore, Carolina, Tennessee. So nothing there either. So not overly correlated on this one. But we have, the rushing upside of Hurts. And then we have a double stack here with Stafford. Bringbacks with Tampa. 1v1 Moore, Douglas. And then 2v2 Vegas and Denver week 15. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a decent build. It's probably not one of my favorites, but just the way it kind of came together, I feel fine with it. One to add to the portfolio. But I did want to get that Lemon Hurts stack. I feel like I just want to get a couple of those in, and I'm down to my last 15, 16 builds. So I was doing a little bit more research on Lemon, and I just think he's one of those types of guys that could have like a back half breakout. And so being that I only had a few percent exposure to him in BBM, I wanted to, he's one of the guys I want to target with these last 15 builds or so. All right. So we are going to, let me just address these comments real quick. So Mike Rob said Arroyo. Yeah, I definitely considered that one. Fantasy Dog says Evans 1 share behind Tucker. What was that? Let me see what he's referring to. Evans 1 share behind Tucker. Evans is in such a great spot. He just needs to be healthy. Remind me which Evans we're talking about. I might just be drawing a blank. And then I'm going to head over here to the puppy 4. We're going to rip another puppy. I'll pull this one down. Let's head over to the puppy 4. I'm going to do another one of these in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Waiting for 1. All right, we have a green badge in here. FF links. We have a bronze badge and then red badges and a few no badges. So it should be a pretty chill room. We'll rip this puppy 4 and then I don't know where we'll go after this. Oh, Mitchell Evans. Okay, Mitchell Evans. That's the tight end for the Carolina Panthers, I believe. I haven't been clicking him, so I think I have 0% exposure on Mitchell Evans. But guys that I need to get a little bit more exposure to, Makai Lemon, Amika Abuka. This guy I'm a little bit lower on. I mentioned Terry. I'm at like 4% Terry. I need to get that up. Jadarian Price is a guy I feel like I probably want to get a little bit more exposure to. Swift, I got one in this draft. He's a guy that I don't have a ton of exposure to in BBM. I think I'm at like 4%. Those are the main ones that come to mind. And then Kalen Black at the back is another guy that I want to be clicking a little bit more. So Kalen Black is another one. But yeah, that's just to kind of level out the exposure here in BBM before I'm out of bullets. All right, so another Bijan Robinson share here in Puppy 4. This is what I got in the very first draft, so we're going to go ahead and get another Bijan. I'm not going to do anything crazy with these first 2 picks. It's always going to be one of these running backs for me every time. Every time. And we'll get to the board view, see how this thing is shaping up. Nothing crazy so far. All the standard stuff. Appreciate you stopping by, Fantasy Dog. I hadn't seen you for a couple days, so hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Curious how many, if you guys are gonna max BBM, and if so, how many bullets you guys left? I know Hartman, you said you had like quite a bit. So curious how much ground you've made up on your BBMs. How many do you have? Let me know in the chat. Curious where you guys are at. I have, after this one, I have, I think 15 left. So I'm down to my last 15 and we're 15 days away from kickoff. So I think we're in a good spot. I didn't end up with a lot of Jonathan Brooks in BBM. I only have 2%. I don't know how much that's going to hurt me, but Jonathan Brooks is probably my lowest player that's really risen up the draft board that I just didn't get any of before, like his big, before he steamed up. So Brooks is someone that I just don't think, and at this point, I don't know that I'm going to be able to make up much ground with him. Hartman says that he's at 80 BBMs. He doesn't have a set number, but probably going to stop at 100. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think last time we talked, you were at like maybe it was like the 40-ish range. So it feels like you've been cranking pretty good on that. And then Fantasy Dog says, I haven't done any BBMs, going to still wait 620 other drafts. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So we're kind of in the same ballpark in terms of number of drafts. Post NFL draft, I should say. That's about my number. I got to look. It's somewhere in that range. I can't keep track of it anymore. All right, let's go neighbors. We'll see if if Pickens comes back. If not, yeah, we'll take Pickens. I know a lot of people do this. It's not like a unique stacker or anything or unique pairing, but I do like this 1v1. Get 2 elite wide receivers, and they correlate for week 17. Hell yeah. All right. So this one, we kind of get what Turbo got, which was Neighbors and Pickens, but we get it with Bijan instead of with Gibbs. And then we'll kind of see how the rest of this one plays out. Olave, I don't know if this is because he's got the tag next to his name. He was going kind of at the turn. Just today, I'm seeing him slip a little bit. It could just be variance. But, he was getting kind of pulled up there for a minute after the Tyson news. Now he's injured himself. So interesting to see how, if this just variance or what. But Williams up here at 28. That's definitely unusual. So Puka, Bowers, Williams. I'm not taking him over like Love, Hall, maybe Kyron. It's close between him and Kyron, but I don't know. Obviously, I took Kyron over these guys on the last one, or I think it was Hall at least, but I was kind of gunning for that Puka. It was because I was kind of chasing down that double. So, it's situational, of course. Not sure what this situation is, but maybe he's got something up his sleeve. Otherwise, here we get a fall on Rice to 31. Flowers goes at 32. Kyron at 33. Ladd at 34. Ibuka 35. And Higgins at the turn. Higgins, Waddle to go with Barkley and Brown. For Brewski 96. Yeah. Going back to Trey Tucker, he's my most owned player, and I have like north of 40% exposure to him. I know you said 32%, so we're in the same Fantasy Dog. We're kind of in the same space there. Hartman's at 14%. You're at 32.7. I'm like north of 40, but he's the one player that I have like over 30%. Nobody else exceeds 30%. He exceeds 40%. Everybody else is like, honestly, in like the low 20s, high teens. And then he's just kind of like an anomaly to me. He's an outlier in terms of where he's priced on the board. So I've just gone absolutely berserk with him. Everybody else I'm reasonable with. Okay. Happy to take Scat here. We'll grab some Scatabo and pair him up with Bijan. And we got the Neighbors Pickens thing, so into that game pretty heavily at this point. Terry, Yeah, it's either Terry Evans. I'll just go Terry again. It's fine. All right, quick recap. 0-2-3-0. We have Bijan and Scat. Wide receivers, Neighbors, Pickens, and McLaurin. This is a Puppy 4. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you stopping by the channel. Anything else unusual going on this one? I guess we have a pull up on price. I'm seeing this more and more. Price is getting pulled up into like the mid fifth. I mean, he's kind of anywhere from like, you know, I guess this spot 53 to like 68. It seemed like we kind of got tired of clicking him after he had the big run up when BBM opened. You know, he kind of settled in here at like the back of the 5-6 turn. And then there was like a couple of weeks, it felt like, where he was kind of falling back into the 6th, and now he's kind of moving in the opposite direction and he's getting pulled up. I'm seeing this more and more, like price in like the mid, even not early 5th, but like mid 5th. That seems to be something that's happening more frequently. I don't know if that's a short-term trend or what's going on there, but noticing it more and more in my rooms. Trey Tucker is the guy I have north of 40% Trey Tucker exposure, and everybody else I have less than 30% exposure to, really closer to like 20%. He's the only one on the board that I have like any like, you know, almost like egregious exposure to is Trey Tucker. Everybody else is sub 30 and honestly like closer to 20% exposure or less. Like Zay Flowers, I have like 18%, because he was going in the 4th there for a while when BBM first opened. And then, you know, he's since gotten like steamed up a lot more. But like Zay Flowers, 18, 19%. Let me pull this up. Marvin Harrison, 17%. Michael Pittman, 18%. Rashad White, 18%. Wicks, 14%. Samson, 15%. So those are like, you know, some of the guys that I'm a little bit higher on. Otherwise, it's pretty balanced. And then you get to Trey Tucker and it's like 40 something percent, 45%, something like that. 47% Trey Tucker. I'm here for it. Okay, do I want to do this lemon thing like 3 times, or do I want to grab like a Tony Pollard? Maybe this is where you grab a... No, I'm not taking Brooks. I guess I could in this because it's time boxed. But I wasn't paying attention. I could also pull up Dak for that. No, let's go Pollard. That's close. It was either Pollard, Lemon, or I guess Dak, but I'm thinking I'll have a chance to get Dart on the way back. So that's why I paused on taking the quarterback, because I think I can get Dart to go with Scat and Neighbors. Well, we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. I could have just blown like 10K too, so you never know. I think I'll do okay, but you know, you got to finish pretty high to actually get your money back in these things. Part of it's a marketing budget. Part of it is, you know, that's what I set aside for this year. And we'll just kind of, you know, I'm approaching my budget. luckily we're coming up on the end of the year, and it is what it is. But that's kind of my, once I hit the 10, then I'm done no matter what it is. But yes, the 40% Trey Tucker, I'm standing on business with Trey Tucker. He better, even if he's like 35% JSN, he'll still smash. Just be like 35% of what JSN was last year in a Clint Kubiak offense, and he'll smash. I'm not worried about Trey Tucker outside of injury. I think he's going to crush it. At that ADP, I mean, seriously, what are we doing? You look at his stats, Trey Tucker's stats, this guy's gotten better every single year he's been in the league. 19 to 47 to 57, 331 yards to 539 yards to 696 yards, 2 touchdowns to 3 touchdowns to 5 touchdowns. Plus he runs jet sweeps and does other things. He did get 1 rushing touchdown 2 years ago. Now he's in a Clint Kubiak offense where they just gush about this dude like nonstop. He's like a hard-ass worker. He wants to be great. I get it. He's like somewhat limited from a skill set, like size perspective. Super fast. 3rd round draft capital out of Cincinnati. Like, dude, this guy is going to absolutely smash. All right, we are going to, did Dart go off the board? Okay, Dart's still there. This guy has 0 quarterbacks, but does he have any reason to take Dart? Should I push it? I think I should probably push it and grab. Let's grab Michael Pittman. Yeah, let's grab Michael Pittman here. And then I want to grab Jackson Dart on the way back. I could have gone Pitts there too, actually. I think Pitts would have been a good click, Pittman or Pitts. Or, I mean, I guess if you want to pull up Fannin. But that's all right. We'll grab Dart. We'll get the double here. We go Hurts and Dart, Bijan, Scat, Pollard, Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, and Pittman. Maybe it should have been Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, and then come back and get Pitts there. Pitts and Bijan. But I don't know. I'm fine with this. I feel like this is still a pretty solid build. Yeah, give me all the Trey Tucker exposure I can handle. 80%. If I could get 80% Trey Tucker exposure, I would. It's just not possible. I heard Naylor is playing behind like Benson. I don't know if that's true, but I heard a rumor that he's not even running. He's like running behind Benson, who's that rookie they drafted this year. I don't know what round he came in, but so any notion that Naylor is gonna be a wide receiver 1 over Trey Tucker is just blasphemy. All right. What do we want to do here? I think I want to grab, maybe double tap the tight end. The tight ends maybe. We go. I think I want to pull up Goddard to this turn here because I don't think a lot of people will do that. So we're gonna stack up Goddard. Now we probably wait till 122, but I'm gonna see what tight ends are there, and I'll probably grab Goddard at 122 to stack up with Hurts. And then, I don't know, maybe like a Debo's there or a Stribling. Stribling's already gone. He went at 101. The hype on him is gone too far. Kittle's also not there. But where is Debo? Like, go Debo and Goddard here, I think is what I want to do. And then that'll give us a stack with Hurts to Goddard and the bring back with Debo, who I still think is probably the guy you should be clicking over Stribling. I still don't understand why Stribling is going over Samuel, but you know, I get he's looked good in preseason. But man, I think people are missing the point on Debo. Okay, let's go Debo. This guy already has 2 tight ends, so he's unlikely to not only take another tight end, but also pull up Goddard to make it happen. So we're gonna go here. We could have gone Wendell there. I mean, that is a good price on him, but I don't know. That's probably honestly where Debo should be going, kind of in the Wendell range. So why not just take him here and we get like we'll build in this bring back. And we're going to grab Goddard here. So it's Hurts to Goddard with the Debo bring back. And then we have the double here with Dart, Skep, and Neighbors. And then we have the bring back with Pickens. Otherwise, we have Bijan and Pollard as our other 2 running backs. And then again, Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman, and Samuel. Goddard. Feels pretty solid. Assuming Scatabo is healthy. I guess even if he's not, and he's on a little bit of a pitch count, Pollard could act as the RB2 for a minute. Let's go. Let's go win some money. Let's go win a tournament. I don't care which one. Anyone will do. Preferably BBM because that's $2 million up top, but I'll take any tournament at this point. I don't want to be greedy. All right, in this range, what do we like? I think a fall on one of these tight ends isn't probably a pretty easy click just because at that value. I'd probably click either of these 2. Okay. Dalton just went, Kincaid just went, and then likely goes. What do we like here in this spot? I think a running back makes sense. I would probably click Woody if he's there. If he's not there, I guess in time box, Mike Washington isn't. Oh, he just went, so that's off the table. Coleman and Johnson here. Guess you could pull up like a Marshawn Lloyd. Okay, we just missed out on Woody Marks. That would have been, I think, the way to play it. Let's go Jonah Coleman. Is that the right click? Boston. Good price on Boston. No, let's go Coleman. And then you know who we're going to grab next. I don't even have to say it. Or do we actually take the tight end here? This is one of the few times that I skip on him. Like Strange. No, absolutely not. Let's go. Trey Tucker. It never gets old. It honestly never gets old. Every time. Every single time. Appreciate you guys all stopping by. We're going to wrap up this Puppy 4, and then I'll probably call it for the day. Go out and touch some grass. But it's been fun hanging out with you guys. Appreciate you stopping by as always. Be 2 puppies and a BBM today. Quick recap of this team. We have a 2-4-6-1. Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart, Bijan, Scat, Pollard, and Coleman. We have Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman, Samuel, and Tucker. And then Dallas Goedert at tight end. Back into this range, I think Schultz, Hawk, Barner, all those guys are fine, I think, as another tight end. And then running backs. Man, I can't just keep clicking Dylan Sampson. Those are like my two dudes, Sampson and Tucker. But I got to mix it up. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe one of these tight ends falls. Strange would be a 1v1 with McLaurin and a good price if he falls back into the 166 range. These guys all have, we got a couple ones in here. Curtis and Invisible King both have one tight end, and then this guy has 0. So yeah, they'll probably clear out the tight ends. I guess Wicks, if we wanted to get a double. If Naylor does hit, then I'm dead though. I'm dead. If he's like the dude, I'm so dead. Barner or Hawk? Won't take him first because this guy doesn't have. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see. We go. Let's go Wicks, the double. And then I think we go Barner. Let's go Barner. Let's go Barner. All right. And then we'll add a third. So we have Goddard, Barner, and somebody else. Malik Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman, Samuel, Tucker, and Wicks. I think we stop at 7 probably, which means we use 2. We use 1 pick for a tight end and maybe the other 2 for running back, because I think Hurts and Dart feels like a stop at 2. I guess we could have taken Cam Ward right there, you know, to pair up with Pollard and then bring it back with Pittman. That was on the table, but I don't know. I guess I felt like pushing. This isn't like Bowers and you can keep pushing it. Like, I feel like you got to get back into that tight end market. So kind of opted not to take Ward there. Good pricing, 176. This guy's pretty happy because he's got Allen and Ward. That's a nice pairing. But I don't know. I guess that was just more of a structural thing. Felt like I was okay and needed it in other position groups. And I could always get Mendoza if I really wanted a third, because I have Trey Tucker. All right, what are we doing here? I think this is like a Braylon Allen-ass click, maybe. Or Ray Davis, or that Emmett Johnson. Where you at? Oh, Emmett Johnson's already off the board. Shoot. He went at 181. Okay. This guy double tapped Black and Johnson at the turn. Hey, I can't fault you for that. I think I want either. Yeah, I mean, I don't want B-Rob on this one because I have Bijan. So I think it would be, I guess Kamara would be a bring back, but I really want Kamara. Maybe Kamara if he comes back. I'll take Braylon first, and then maybe Kamara, and then end it with a tight end, or we grab Otten here. Let's see. We're going to grab Braylon, Otten, Kamara. I don't take a lot of Kamara, but I guess at this price, you have to at least entertain it. We're going to go Braylon first. And then, is it Otten? Guess we could go Freiermuth too. We have the double with the double without the quarterback. Yeah, maybe this is a Freiermuth click. We go Kamara. No, we don't. We go Freiermuth. All right, let's go double Pittsburgh. So Freiermuth and Pittman Jr. And then we have the running back bring back here with Pollard. So it's Hurts, Dart, Bijan, Scat, Pollard, Coleman, Allen, Braylon Allen, Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman Jr., Deebo Samuel, Trey Tucker, and Dontavian Wicks. And then we have Goddard, Barner, and Freiermuth. So Hurts stacked up with Goddard and Wicks. And then we have Dart stacked up with Scat and Neighbors. We have bringbacks for both of those. So Pickens is the bringback for the Giant stack. And Debo's the bringback for the Goddard for the Hurts stack. And then other than that, it's just kind of like a Mod Podge of other guys, on other good teams in good situations. Obviously, you have Bijan, Coleman on the Broncos, Braylon, who seems to be cemented as like the wide receiver, the running back too, with some playing time. Trey Tucker, obviously, we talked about him ad nauseum, excuse me. All right, what are we doing with this last one? I think we can kind of do whatever we want with this last one. I mean, if they're going to give us Mendoza back, I'd probably just take Mendoza and stack him up with Tucker. If they don't give us Mendoza back, I guess we could take Geno, stack him up with Braylon Allen. Or we take Brissett and he becomes like a 1v1 with Tucker. I mean, we could add another running back. I don't think it's necessary because we have like 3 starters here. And then, guys that could have roles. We could grab a Sean Tucker. Mendoza goes there. I mean, Geno at this price, I feel like you got to take that. Yeah, let's do that. 215 Geno Smith in this economy? Hell yeah. All right, let's review this team and then we'll wrap this one up. 3-5-7-3, Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart, Geno Smith. We have at running back, Bijan, Scat, Pollard, Coleman, and Braylon Allen. Wide receivers, Neighbors, Pickens, McLaurin, Pittman Jr., Deebo Samuel, Trey, Mother effin' Tucker, and Dontavian Wicks. And then tight end, Dallas Goedert, AJ Barner, and Pat Freiermuth. So we have Hurts doubled with Wicks and Goddard, bringing it back with Samuel. We have Dart to Cam to Neighbors, bringing it back with Pittman. Then we have Geno completely unstacked, but he correlates to absolutely nothing. But at 215, why the heck not? Didn't see a ton of other stuff on the board I really cared for. And then we have 1v1 Coleman Tucker week 15. We have Pittman Jr. and Pat Freiermuth without the quarterback. And then we have the Pollard bring back. So yeah, I mean, just some nice pieces, not overly correlated. Feel like structurally you could have stopped at 2, but there was nothing there. And Geno's still floating around at 215. Oh yeah, we did stack him up with Braylon, but there's no bringbacks. But at that price, I mean, it's just like, let's just get the raw quarterback points. Got 3 starters here in the running back room. So, took a stab on Coleman. He could get some playing time. And then Braylon, I think he's also got some standalone value. Anything happens to Breece Hall. He's probably a smash. I think you stop at 7 here. You go 23, 26, 50, 95. So I mean, we have 4 before 100, 5 before 120. And then Tucker, who should be going in the 120s. Back on Wicks, add value here, 167 for the double. Pulled up, got her, but did it for the stack. Barner at, 80p or whatever. And then same thing here for Pat. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty well-structured build. Could have maybe used an extra running back if you really didn't want the quarterback there. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid team. All right, guys, appreciate you stopping by the channel as always. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back on again tomorrow for another BBM, another set of puppies, whatever else you guys want to do. We'll rip some more drafts. But yeah, appreciate the support. Have a good rest of your day. Go out there, touch some grass. Be safe. Take it easy. Peace.